Welcome to the City of Beavercreek Department of Parks, Recreation, and Culture Park Board. We're going to start off with the call to order, Jackie. Oh, I just called it to order. Let's let you do roll call.
Mrs. Fulton.
Here.
Mr. Schmidt.
Here.
Looks like Mr. Corbett, Mrs. Heaton, and Mrs. Meyer are not with us this evening.
Thank you, Jackie. All right, we're going to move on to our staff report.
Good evening. So I just wanted to go through, hopefully a lot of people have been hearing about our new park, Springhouse Park. During City Council meeting last month, within the past few weeks, we unveiled the master plan. So I wanted to share that master plan with our park board. So this is a great aerial view. Again, it's 148 acres, and we were able to purchase that with money from, we received 2 different grants from ODNR, the Land and Water Conservation Fund, and then also we supplemented that with fees in lieu of land. So again, that's money that we received from developers that came in. So instead of developing or donating land as they put in developments, they give us money instead. So we built up in that account, and so we're able to purchase all of this land. So the overall goal, so I should mention Branstetter Carroll was the one that did our master plan. They did our park system master plan in 2010. They did our next park system master plan in 2019. And then we were fortunate enough to work with them again on this part. So Pat Hoagland was a consultant for Branstetter Carroll. And again, working with him numerous times, he really knows Beavercreek. He understands what we are looking for and what our residents are looking for, and how we want to make sure that it's not necessarily our plan, it's for the residents. So, excuse me. So some of the goals for as we went through this process was to implement the Parks and Recreation Master Plan and to fulfill unmet needs. We have found as we went through that 10-year cycle that there were a lot of things that people wanted. We just did not have the space to put those in there. So this parcel allows us to do that. We wanted to listen to the residents and respect the neighbors. So there's about 10 acres on this parcel that is private land. There's a family living there, and they plan on staying, and I don't blame them because they've got a beautiful, huge parkland as their backyard. So we wanted to create a destination park to serve all of Beavercreek, appeal to a wide variety of interests, connect to other trails in the community, improve stormwater issues. So again, the neighborhood across from the park, Willowcrest, floods every time there's a big rain. So we're going to be able to put a pond on this property that will help absorb a lot of the stormwater, and then that way it should help the flooding across the street. So it gives us a nice pond, and it helps our neighbors. We also want the park to maintain a natural feel, yep, I did it right. And then host 5K runs, camps, some STEM education, and also events. So as we went through the process, we wanted to make sure that we received a lot of community input. We did 2 different open houses, and we had 150 participants that came out. They were able to look at a couple different draft plans. Here's some different things that we can put out at the parks. And then we also had a sticker system, so they could say, hey, this is what I like best, here's what I don't like best. And then there was also an area that they could fill in. It's like, well, you don't have this, and this is what I would like to see. And then we realized that not everybody could come out to our open house. So I was like, hey, let's do an online survey. That would be great. Not anticipating over 2,000 people would respond. So, which again was fantastic. It shows you that Beavercreek really cares, and they want their input. So we were able to go through all of those responses and add those to our results. So there's just a picture of one of our public forums. So this is kind of ranks the features. So again, and it's interesting, as we do different surveys, as we do master plans, some of the things that always kind of rise to the top is the hiking trails, natural areas, all access playgrounds. and that came up again through this process. A 5K course, kind of etched above the top, which again is great because we will be able to put in a 5K course at the park. You're not going to be running on roads. It'll all be contained within the park. And then pickleball was the first time that has risen way to the top. That is a really growing sport. Last time we had a survey, pickleball was not as popular as it is today. So, but then we also asked about programs. So yeah, we're going to have all these great amenities. What kind of programs would you like to see? So nature programs, special events, and youth sports kind of topped out the top 3. You know, again with adult fitness, programs for 55 plus, some summer camps, adult sports, kind of rounded out the rest of the survey. And this was just from the open house, or the 2 open houses. So again, as we went to the online survey, a lot of it fell right within what we found when we did the public forums. Natural areas, unpaved hiking trails, all-access playground, picnic shelters, splash pad. Those were the biggies. And then as we look at the programs, nature programs, adult fitness, summer concerts, youth sports, again, kind of rounded out the top. So we felt pretty confident that, you know what, from the surveys or the open forums, we pretty much had a good key on what exactly our community would like to see at this new park. So what we did, we took, again, we started with those 2 different concept plans, showed the public, and then tried to divvy it down a little bit more. So like, you know, okay, here's what everybody would like to see, plotted everything out on a map, showed it to council, we had their suggestions, and then we just tweaked it a little bit to come up with one big master plan. And I've got smaller snippet pictures, but that's the entire plan itself. That yellow that you see all the way around is a 3-mile trail. It's a multi-use trail, so again, paved. So for biking, for running, for walking, strollers, whatever that is. We do have an asphalt drive all the way through the park. So not only for our park staff to get from point A to point B, but also if I'm like dropping my kid off at a soccer game up at the multi-purpose fields, I can leave him there for practice, drive through the park, and bring my other child down to a playground or a splash pad or whatever that is. But this lists all the amenities. I'm not going to go through them right here because, like I said, we'll have little snippets as we go. So this is what I call the bottom portion, but the one along East Patterson Road. It calls out for a outdoor fitness in that corner. And then along in that corner is outdoor fitness, a playground, a splash pad, restroom building, and then just a couple shelter houses, along with a large parking lot that would serve that corner. A dog park in the middle with a few shelter houses. And then the other side is pickleball courts. There's enough for 12, along with lights, some covered benches, restroom facility. The parking area would serve both the dog park and the pickleball courts. And then, again, a shelter on that side too. And then our maintenance facility. So we would move our entire maintenance staff, which right now is 5, over to this park, and then we would run all of our park operations out of this area because there's enough room in that corner so we could have, like, that's where we would store, like, our mulch and gravel and dirt and just that's storage in one area for our entire park system. So for all of our 24 parks now. As we move up there's also, right across from Largo Lane, there's another parking lot. I just call that the meadow area. A parking lot and then a couple shelters. Right now, we're just looking at it's like, that's a nice open area where we can just say, you know, we can have a parking lot, we can have a couple shelters, and just leave it open. Kids can play, cut it down, but it's also room for, in a few years, 10 years, there's that next big thing. Like we saw with pickleball, all of a sudden that's exploding. Well, you know there's something else coming down the pike. And then also kind of to that left, there's a little inlet. Again, that's just open space, nothing is programmed there. There is enough space in this park that we can have open space and amenities. And as you see where we've put all the different amenities, it's not cutting down trees. There's a lot of areas where we need to clean it up. There's a lot of scrub trees. And so we're noticing there's some really cool big trees back there, but you can't see them because honeysuckle, everything like that is growing up around it. So we'll be able to clean all that up. But again, this is all farm field. So where the farmer was farming, it's relatively flat. And so we can put amenities on there. So then we go to the middle section. Again, we've kind of carved out where the private residence is. But then this middle area is a retention pond for fishing, a couple fishing docks, event space, and that is what we call a four-season. So fully enclosed, HVAC system, so we can use it in the summertime, we can use it in the wintertime, with indoor bathrooms. The Great Lawn is, picture a really nice golf course, like pristine grass. That's what this would be, like cut a couple times a week. But so we can run programs, we can run events. It's a very nice area where you can go. You can go sit, you can play frisbee, football, whatever that is. But it's just a nice area that you can go. With a playground, again, a couple shelter houses in the area, and then that parking lot in the right with U shape, if you will. That is more like a food truck drive. So if we wanted to do events and have food trucks, they can park along that U-shape semicircle, and then we have electric pedestals, and so they can plug right into that area. Yes. So we can do a food truck rally, we can do events with some food trucks, so it's kind of nice because the options are limitless. Hit everything there. And then at the top of the park, so again, this is on the Shakertown roadside, we have an overlook shelter at the top of that map. There is an absolutely gorgeous view from the top. You stand up there and you can see pretty much all of Beavercreek. So this is an overlook shelter. It's a three-season style shelter. You can certainly go in there in December if you want to, but it's going to be cold. So this way you have your picnic, your family reunion, but you're looking out over this gorgeous view with a hill drop down and then just a meadow prairie area underneath you with a little concrete area and a fire pit. With a restroom facility, again, large parking area, multi-purpose fields, another playground, some shelter houses, basketball court, and then archery range. And again, that's for the public. We have talked with some different entities that have one of those. Totally know how to keep it safe. I will say, so we've talked about that yellow line being a hiking trail. It will flip with archery range. People are not going to be shooting archery to that hiking trail. We just have to update the line. So we understand that that's there. So, and then the woods in the right bottom corner, there are some really cool areas to wander through, but we are not looking at trails through there yet because there's a lot of ravines, and so it's not probably the best for everybody. We will be working on some trails. I missed it, and I'm sorry, there's a disc golf course as well. So kind of to the left of the Great Lawn, but through here, like through the disc golf course, and then down a little bit where you see the restored woods, we're going to be working on trails this summer. So that way we're going to be able to get some people out to the park. Right now, we still have a lot of cleanup to do out there. Before the park was ours, some people might have been like hanging out there and enjoying an evening. So we just need to clean things up. There's also a lot of farm fencing that we want to make sure, so before people go out and explore, we want to get this stuff cleaned up and ready. But the hiking trail, we've been through it a few times, just kind of plotted out. It's beautiful walking through there. You're here a little bit of 675, but it's not too bad. You get it, and especially the meadow area, right on the other side of like that, the Great Lawn and that road. It is so peaceful. So it would be a great place to just go, bring a picnic lunch, and just kind of hang out for a little bit. So, happy to answer any questions. I will tell you, so right now it's estimated it will cost about like $36 million if we put on every single amenity. So there's some things that we can do, whether we do a full build out or phase it in. That's something that we're working with City Council on. So we should be making those plans in the next few weeks, and we'll update you guys as we go.
So you mentioned that they're going to start cleaning out part of that this summer. Do they have a time frame of when they're going to start that?
Yes, actually, so we're working with the Hope Church. They have, is it called Hope Week? End of July. And so they're going to help us blaze the trails. So we have put some ribbon through, so we've kind of said, all right, here's, and the deer has done a great job helping us find a trail. So the first time we were out there, like, well, here's the perfect way to go, so we just have to clean those up. So the hope is the end of July, have those cleaned up, clear a lot of the debris, have our staff continue working, and then hopefully by the end of August, have it open and do some type of grand opening or ribbon cutting.
Very exciting. Thank you, Kim.
Absolutely.
All right, now we'll move on to our division reports.
Good evening. It's a busy time of year here in Parks, Recreation, and Culture Department, but I'll try and give you the best update I can on as many different things as I can. Of course, we normally start with our senior center. Actually, one of our senior center team members said to me earlier today, they said, well, it's kind of reverse. Their senior center season visitation is a little bit down usually in the summer versus in the winter time when everyone wants to be inside. There are more people at the senior center in the winter. We're still busy all the time over there, but they do get a little reprieve from all the visitors when there's other outdoor activities for people to do. We are doing a fun event called a neighborhood gala, and that is here at the end of June. This is open to non-members and members of the senior center. This will be our first semi-formal event in quite some time where people are asked to dress to impress, and it'll be dancing and entertainment. We'll have the live band, Band 5, come out. If you haven't seen them perform yet, they've been part of our summer concert series numerous times. They also enjoy performing at the senior center. They're kind of a favorite of ours, and they'll be out there. We'll have a catered meal. It'll be a really nice evening, and we want to thank the Ashford of Beavercreek for sponsoring that event for us. If that's something you want to come out to, please give the center a call and make sure you get your ticket before we sell out. And we have a new yoga class starting. We had had a longtime yoga instructor for a while who is no longer teaching yoga with us for a little while, and we've had a lot of people wanting a yoga class back. And one of our instructors who had taken a hiatus from instructing here in Beavercreek has come back, and she is ready to teach yoga on Saturday mornings. So we are offering this. It's a joint opportunity. It's open to senior center members, and they get a resident rate if they are a member. So even if they're a non-resident of Beavercreek, but they are a senior center member, they'll get that resident rate for the class as well. And then we have a non-resident and non-member rate too. And so it's also all ages. It's not just 55 plus. It's actually all adults going to be in that class. And Sarah, the instructor, is very good at helping people figure out the poses and the moves that are appropriate for them and their physical abilities. So we're really looking forward to that starting. It's going to start really soon, the beginning of July, right after the 4th of July. All right, moving on in over to our recreation side. We did want to update you on our tree hike at Fox Run Park that we neglected to tell you about at the last meeting. Our tree advisory board held a tree hike on May 6th, and they led this and wanted to share their knowledge about the unique trees in the park, talk about identifying different trees, help people learn about the ones they might see in the parks or in their yards. And they were really excited about it. We were really excited to have people come out. We had about 15 people sign up for the hike, and they're planning to offer some more similar events in the future. So we want to thank them for that partnership. And then a local favorite, our summer concert series out at Dominic Lafino Park has already kicked off. This is on Sunday evenings at 7 p.m. and concerts are scheduled through July 30th. We have several sponsors to thank, the Beavercreek Women's League, the American Legion, and the Green Optimist Club for making these concerts possible for us. And then we also have our children's entertainment series. The last couple summers we did a children's concert. This year we are doing a puppet show, and we booked 2 of them. We have one in June. It's actually coming up this weekend, and then we have one in July. So if you haven't heard of or gotten to experience a puppet show by Madcap Puppets, I highly recommend. It's a really neat show, and they'll be doing that at 5 o'clock. And then after that, we'll have our regular concert at 7 o'clock. And on both of these Sundays, we will have vendors. I think this weekend we've got some cotton candy vendor coming out and a hot dog vendor coming out. So you can get some treats to enjoy as well with your family. I do want to thank the sponsors for the Children's Entertainment Series. We have Dayton Children's and the Green Optimist sponsoring those. In case you might forget, the 4th of July is coming up on the 4th of July. And we have our parade at 6 o'clock down Dayton Xenia Road. This happens from Meadowbridge Road to the Beavercreek High School. We'll have activities in Rotary Park from 7 to 10 p.m. We've got all sorts of vendors. We have inflatables for the kids, and we have a performance by Flight 1, the Air Force Band of Flight's rock band. So we're excited about that. And then a special thanks to UES. They've been our sponsor for several years now for their fireworks show. That'll be at 10 p.m. We can't wait. And speaking of the 4th of July, we did select our parade grand marshal. Carol Graff, she's been a Beavercreek resident since 1966. She's served in a whole bunch of roles, and some of those include Beavercreek Township trustee, Beavercreek City Council. She was the city's first female mayor, and she's a long history of community service through all sorts of boards and volunteer roles. I know many people in the community know Carol, and if you see her around, make sure you tell her congratulations, and she will be riding in a convertible at the front of the parade this year. Okay, I know this graphic isn't super exciting, but I wanted to show you, if you go to our website to register for programs, we've got camps. Yes, we do. We've got camps. How about you? We have traditional summer day camps, we have art camps, we have sport camps, music, all sorts of things. So if you are, you're at home, your kids have been home a few weeks now, and you are thinking maybe they need to get out of the house a little bit more, go to our website and find a camp. Some of them are all day, some of them are half day, some of them are full weeks, some are partial weeks, and we've got a whole age range from preschool through high school that the kids can participate in. So we're excited to see them this summer. Any questions about any of those events or programs going on? Okay. All right, I did want to give an update. If you have driven down North Fairfield Road in the past few days, you may have noticed the 9/11 Memorial looking especially sharp. I know I did when I walked past. Our staff actually recently refreshed the landscaping and installed a whole bunch of new plants and mulched it. As you can see the picture there, it looks really nice as you are driving down North Fairfield Road or if you stop over at the 9/11 Memorial. So that is right next to Beavercreek Station, the bike hub there, and many people see that as they're utilizing the bike path and coming through our community who may not normally be driving around Beavercreek. And to give an update, our summer parks maintenance is in full swing. Of course, we did take a small break on mowing while we didn't have any rain for a few weeks. We were able to get a few other projects finished. But we also have athletic field maintenance going on daily. We have landscaping, playground mulching, and we keep the parks maintenance staff busy with all of the programs and events that we have going on with all of our extra needs for those as well. And to give you a staffing update, we had a really successful hiring season, which we're just thrilled to say because that hadn't been the case the past several years. We have lots of great new faces and interns, camp directors, camp counselors, maintenance employees, all sorts of people, as well as our year-round people, all helping us get all the things done that we do all season long. Last week, we did have a quarterly staff meeting. We've been doing quarterly staff meetings each quarter. Imagine that. And we have done team building. We got a Springhouse Park update as well. And we learned about injury and incident reporting with the city's HR manager and got some division updates. So it's always good to have that whole staff, especially with the seasonal staff members who aren't with us year round, to get an update on what's going on, and especially because they'll be out in the public and people might ask them what's going on. Help them feel like they have some ownership over their work and know how to share a little bit of information with the public. That's what I have tonight. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Do you have any questions? Thank you, Erin.
Thank you.
All right, as we move on to old business and volunteer opportunities. How about it?
We have volunteer opportunities with all sorts of events. I can send back out to Park Board. I know we set up a Sign Up Genius probably a couple months ago at this point. We can refresh that list and send that out to Park Board. But we're always looking for volunteers. Our 4th of July could use volunteers to help with the parade and all the activities at Rotary Park. And then our senior center always needs volunteers, especially in our transportation program, as well as parks maintenance. If your group is looking for a way to volunteer, we have opportunities for mulching and those sorts of things, as well as we get further into the season and people start thinking about their scout projects and their scout awards, both Girl Scouts and the Scouts, previously called Boy Scouts, then they all have projects to do, and we can work with individuals on special projects as well.
Those volunteer opportunities, those are open to anybody who's interested, is that correct?
Yeah, for the most part, depends on the opportunity. Obviously, our senior center volunteers are going to go through some training and some background screening and that kind of thing. Our groups don't necessarily do as much of that if they're coming out to mulch a playground one time.
Thank you, Erin. So for new business, we had planned a meeting before this one that had to be canceled, but it's our lunch for our partner groups. So this year we made a decision to do 2 volunteer events, and one was for the volunteers here in Beavercreek, but then we also wanted to recognize our volunteers of our partner groups, and so that will be coming up. We'll have a meeting on that again, and have that. So that's exciting. It's our first time giving this a try, so it'll be fun. I don't see any unscheduled visitors, action items. You have anything for board time?
Just a reminder, as Family Fun Night is at the mall at Fairfield Commons Friday from 5 to 7. If you're looking for something nice to do inside, those are some activities for people to do, win some prizes. I do also want to say, looking at the master plan for Springhouse Park, I think it's really nice to see that you've accommodated or taken into consideration so many different varieties of people's requests. Being a nature lover myself, I like the amount of the trees and the wetlands that are there. But seeing that there's hiking trails and pickleball courts and basketball, and there's so many things for families to do that you were able to get into the space itself while maintaining the space and not packing everything on top. It was great to see. I'm excited for it, and I think it's something that we can get behind.
Yes, thank you. I also want to remind everybody about the 4th of July. I know Erin just mentioned that, but and we know it comes on the 4th every year. But it's a fun time for all of our families. So just to remind people that if you want to be in the parade, you need to get your forms in to the Parks Department. That you can find that form online and get that in. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. If you've never come, you need to come this year. It's a lot of fun. All right. Well, that brings us to the end of our meeting, and so we'll adjourn.